Hello guys, I'm Benjamin James Baker, also known as EG.DeMusliM. I'm a professional StarCraft 2 player for Team Evil Geniuses. And here I am to present you guys with some help in the TvT matchup, so we'll get right on into the game. So, here we have myself against NMX Massa, the blue Terran, I am the red Terran, on Tal'darim Altar. This is a very popular ladder map, and I'm sure you guys are all familiar with it. Anyway, I'll talk about this game as I get going. So, start of the game. Just very normal. I'm running it on 2x speed for the start. Just have the production tab up, like very similar on SCV production, everything going fine. On this map, I'm just splitting out my SCVs so they go to each and every patch. So we're both at 9 out of 11. Everything's very, very standard at this point. GL have fun. He is actually mineral stacking a little bit, so he's obviously a decent player. Both our depots go down. So just like initial build order things for TvT, you always build a 10 depot. There's no reason not to build a 10 depot. This means SCV production will be as fluid and constant as it can possibly be. So as you can see, both our depots roughly around the same time. I had a little blip, and that's why mine's a little later. But anyway, that's actually mainly due to the mineral stacking, just to point out how effective it is. Even though it's only 2 or 3 seconds ahead, that is a big thing. So this is when we see a little bit of deviation. This Terran has gone for the refinery first. This usually means, and when I say usually, you can still do other stuff, but usually means you are going for the fastest Banshee ever. It usually gets to your opponent's base by the 6-minute 30 mark if you are kind of close spawn, so that's what we see here. Anyways, I'm going for the more normal build with racks at 12. So at this point, I do start scouting. And on Tal'darim, one thing I do want to point out, these towers, if you scout the wrong way around, your worker, instead of going through the tower and then round directly to your opponent's base, will actually go round the tower, making your distance longer. The way you can avoid this very easily is just by scouting clockwise around the map. This helps a bunch. So as you can see, I've not done any special clicking or anything, just clockwise round, and that movement is very straight rather than going round this tower. So that's always a big tip to have. So anyways, I do scout him straight away with this early scout. I do see he has a gas. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And then I do see he has a barrack. So I'm like, okay, I know that his gas was first. I see his factory. I'm very happy with the position I'm in. At this point, what do? Initially, I was kind of worried that he was going for a Reaper opening, in which case, if I tried to fast expo here, this SCV that is building here would be vulnerable. But it also means I have an entrance here that I have to watch too, and an entrance here. So a Reaper could throw me off incredibly hard if I just reacted slightly wrong or miscalculated where he's going to come from. So anyway, I do know his build, and I know that I can deal with it pretty efficiently. I do kill his SCV due to some stutter step micro, and my own SCV gets away very safely. So what do we see here for our Terran opponent? He is actually going for this fast starport build, as I did say earlier. So this is something that is very, very common in this matchup, and I'm going to try and deal with it in the best way possible. I'll pause again, just so you guys can see what I'm doing. So in my base, pretty good saturation. If we look at the income tab, I'm slightly ahead. That's just because he kind of had to cut an SCV to get down his production facilities in time. So I went for a second Rex. What did I do after that second Rex? Or initially, I went for the command center, obviously. But after that, my second Rex goes down, and then I plant down 2 refineries just after that. This is a very good build, and it'll start to formulate as to why. Rather than going 3 Rexes, this just means I get these gases that much faster. Sure, my marine count will be lower, but what can I do with a really high marine count at the start of the game anyway? The answer is not a lot. So why go for it? Well, that's why I'm not. So here we have this Banshee being built, and look, it's a very, very quick Banshee. It's started building around the 5-minute mark, which is incredibly fast. So a tech lab is thrown down, a reactor is thrown down. My marine count isn't actually that high at all. I am getting an engineering bay. Things are going pretty fine here. His base, on the other hand, he's gone for a really risky fast expand, so if I did happen to rush him or anything, he could be in a world of trouble. I do start throwing down turrets. One of the reasons for this is just in case he gets cloak on this Banshee first. So here, he does fly into this turret, doesn't take any damage, so he's obviously a good player. This player has roughly 60-20 on Grandmaster. And here, I just want to point this out. I cancelled both these turrets because on my clock, I'm thinking, okay, this Banshee should have hit by now. Like, it's been 6:30, and one of the things that happened was he flew here, flew back, and I didn't see it because he's above this tree kind of thing. I can't see unless I have an air unit. So I didn't see it, and then he took a different way around. 20 seconds have passed, and look, he's just finding another way into my base. And now I'm kind of thrown off quite a bit. He just killed quite a few SCVs with his Banshee. And this is purely because I actually over-knew the timings of that Banshee in his build. I over-knew. And this is something that I still should have been like very well prepared for. And I should have just stopped my SCVs from building rather than just straight out cancelling. And then, for example, if I had a turret that was 99% complete, I can then cancel it later on in the game, and it can act like a bit of a salvage bunker kind of thing in terms of money back, rather than just straight up cancelling it. Since this Banshee, it did just die, I do believe, or it will die soon, I think. But anyway, it's sitting over here. I've got a turret up now in my mineral line, both mineral lines actually, so I'm pretty fine. Harvest count-wise, I'm still ahead despite losing roughly 6 SCVs, and I do kill the Banshee. So still ahead. Harvest account-wise is good. Marine production's going pretty well too, getting medevacs now. Let's see what he's going for. I scan him. I see exactly what he's doing. He's got siege tanks, medevac, siege tank, or marines, and I know he's going to be going for a push over here. There's no way I can move out on the map against that. I don't have stim. It means my army will run very slowly and he'll just siege bombard me. So as soon as I start taking damage here, my immediate reaction is, okay, I got to get myself out of here. There's no way I'm going to be surviving against what he has right now. As you can see, my supply is actually behind. He's to start killing my bunker. What do? I just salvage that, get a bit of money back. And what am I building back in my base? Just more marines, just trying to not get supply blocked, producing a lot, getting medevacs. And what do I do here? This is when I'm going to slow down the game a bit for you guys. I know that he can't push at me very quickly. His tanks are here, his marines are inferior to mine. I know most likely they won't have stim because he's gone for this fast siege tech. Mine do, so I'm just going to load up because I know his push time is going to be late. So, and load in his base, I do start killing SCVs. What are these marines going to do against my marines? They're going to fall apart. My marines are upgraded, his aren't, his don't have stim, I have a medevac. Things are going well already. What should this initiate for him? This little contain that he's got that is kind of impenetrable has to get a move on. What am I doing here? I'm just dropping him again. I've got roughly, in fact, how many is that? 24 marines in his base with 3 medevacs. That's quite a lot of supply. That's 30 supply. So at this point, he's like, okay, I've got to go. I've got to go. This is my last chance. But look, I've already built up a pretty large force. And how many SCVs do I actually have in this base? Well, probably around 40 or so, exactly 40. So yeah, he has to push. And at this point, he is pushing. So I'm just going to pause the game. This is the situation that we're in. I've killed pretty much all his SCVs. I'm just going to keep on killing his infrastructure. And this is going to make it so this army is not able to rebuild at all. So anything that I kill of this, it's going to be gone for a good length of time. At this point, I am going for 2 factory because I didn't realize he was going to be hitting me so soon. And I tried to get siege tech out or something, but my gas is just very low. I was preparing for 2 base infrastructure, not just 1 base, so that's why that didn't work out as well. But if I do kill this army, I win the game. So at this point, in my head, I'm just like, okay, my army's pretty decent. I've got a tank out now. If I just pull, and I'm like pulling half my SCVs, but then I'm like, why pull half? If I actually lose this engagement, it could get close. So I'm just going to pull all of them. That's exactly what I do. We have a fight, and yes, I'm losing a lot of SCVs here. As you can see, they're falling pretty rapidly. But I do mop up his army pretty clearly. I lose a lot of marines, so my army is not actually very big, but I do actually break out of this. I've still got an army here, and GG is called. So guys, in that game, we actually saw myself getting tank pushed. We saw a build that he did that I predicted, so we know some timings for the Banshee. Roughly pops at about 6 minutes, comes at you and should be at your base by about 6:30. A lot of time, you should be prepared for this already, having combat shields almost done or already done, in which case it's not going to do that much damage to you because then it takes 3 shots to kill marines, and you just micro well. In this case, I was prepared for that Banshee coming, but then because it didn't come in the nick of time that I thought it would, because it took a different route to my base, I was like, it's not a Banshee, it's some other kind of build, like Blue Flame Hellion drop or a tank push or something, and that just wasn't the case at all. So guys, if you do know your timings, don't pay attention to them. Really, like, it happens here or it's nothing. That was a mistake that I made, but the rest of the game I kind of understood what was going on. I knew he wouldn't have enough units at his base to defend. I knew that him pushing into my base, he had to do it slowly, otherwise I could just siege attack or stim attack him and roll him. So yeah, there's a lot of things in that game that I want you to take into account and just realize that TvT, it is a matchup that makes sense. Like, he can only do what you can do. So yeah, take that into account. And guys, thank you for watching. If you want to check out more stuff, go to evilgeniuses.net. We've got loads of stuff from myself and our other players such as Idra, In Control, and Machine. Thank you for watching.